laughing, pretty baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Yeah, you've been laughing, pretty baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Further on up the road, you find out I wasn't lying. Further on up the road, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, darling, just you wait and see. Work's done and the weekend's here. I'm up at dawn, gotta make it clear. The hunt is on, I'm feeling that fire. Got FOMO bad and I'm down to the wire. Rolling out in the morning light, chasing that beast that's out of sight. Got my spot all picked out right, gonna score that bottle tonight. Oh, but the whiskey tubers got there first, left me standing feeling cursed. No JD, no Wild Turkey's best, no Russell's 15 left on the shelf. Guess I'll see if I like the rest. Charlie, Jeff, and Rob SS, sipping up all the liquid joy. Cast 529 got the last sweet sip. Guess I need to learn to double click and hit subscribe quick. Walk in the store, see a big guy there. I ask, did you score? What did you snare? He shakes his head, says, man, not a chance. Those whiskey tubers beating me to the dance. The guy at the counter starts to explain. A van rolled up like a whiskey train. Troy took all the Wild Turkey pride. Gandy Road grabbed JD for the ride. And Iceman Dave with a cheeky grin left with Russell's 15 again. Oh, the whiskey tubers got there first, left me standing feeling cursed. No JD, no Wild Turkey's best, no Russell's 15 left on the shelf. Guess I'll see if I like the rest. Charlie, Jeff, and Rob SS, sipping up all the liquid joy. Cax 529 got the last sweet sip. Guess I need to learn to double click and hit subscribe quick. Ooh, hey. Well, I laughed and gave a wink, said guess I'll need another drink. If you can't beat them, join them too. Sub to Bourbon and Ballz and find something new. So I'll raise my glass to the whiskey crew. Those tubers know just what to do.
Hey guys,
You're white.
I am.
Well, I know you're white. The exposure.
Like that snowman character.
Snowman. The Burl Ives. I always told him he looked like that right there. Yeah, that bobblehead. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another session of Bourbon and Ballz. We got Jeff here. We got Weller in the background. We also have off camera. He's just come by for a pour or two or three or whatever you like. We have Bob. So you may hear us talk to Bob off camera, or you may hear his voice and whatnot. So, but yeah, so Bob decided to join us this evening on audio. So, but anyway.
What's up, Bob?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. No problem. So tonight we're doing a few things, and of course, you got a few announcements I'm sure to make, and I think we got a few announcements to make ourselves as far as upcoming shows.
Yes.
But why don't you tell everybody what's going on?
All right. Well, tonight we've got Ted Simmons, who is the author of that article that he interviewed me for the that state of Ohio Senate bill where they were trying to force retailers to open up bottles before they sell them. He interviewed me, and then interviewed the senator that,
Which I find that hilarious.
yeah, that tried to bring it. And so it's a nice article, and we got him on the show tonight. He's with the Spirits Business. It's an international magazine. I think they're based out of Europe somewhere, and he's out of New York.
I was gonna say, what time zone is he at?
He lives up in New York. He's like
Okay.
the U.S. correspondent for them.
Yeah. I saw an article today. I don't know why it popped up in my thing, in my feed. I'm going to ask him about it. It was only a headline. I wasn't able to click on it because I was at work. It was something about him buying or him witnessing people buying pre-prohibition bottles. I guess either it was at an auction or something like that. So,
Mhm.
maybe he can tell us what that experience was like, what that all was about.
Maybe it was down at Revival.
Yeah, I don't know where it was, but nevertheless, it's pretty interesting. So we'll have him on probably around 8:15, 8:30, and then we have another announcement, people. For those who have won any bottles, and I mean any bottles from Bourbon and Ballz, we are now probably first time in show's history caught up on samples.
And we are prepared for tonight.
Yes, but there's more. We have already made up pre-samples ready to go, and it will go out tomorrow. So we are not only caught up. If you haven't gotten it, I mean, you got your you should get in the mail any day now. And these will go out tomorrow. They're already. This is the first time we ever pre-packed.
I think we've taken all of our medication on time this week,
Yes.
and I think we're doing pretty good.
That's awesome.
I know we can't. Yeah, it's awesome. So
Well, speaking of, I jump on real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this real fast because
Okay.
I'm going to get real sentimental and choked up. Thanks to everybody. Again, you guys are putting that together. People that donated bottles, people that participated. I just appreciate and love y'all. I just want to say thanks.
We appreciate you both.
very good.
Love you guys.
Yeah,
Cheers to you
very,
guys too.
very good. We love you too, Bob. And if you want to find some classic shows, and you know what, I looked up on last night. I was talking to Brian on the phone, and we were just chatting. And our Spotify account is still open, so you can actually go on Spotify and look up Bourbon and Ballz. And Bob, it's like early on, and we're so serious, and we have no personality. And Bob and I are doing our first podcast, and believe it or not, we did podcast before we decided to go YouTube because
5 or 6 at least. Maybe?
yeah, about 5 or 6 episodes. We were kind of too scared to do the video part,
Well,
but nevertheless,
I'm going to start reposting the audio back up onto Spotify for anybody who wants to listen to it in the car.
Okay.
Some people do enjoy that, like on the road.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, sure.
So when we go through the editing, we can strip the audio out and ship it up over there. And
Okay. All right. Well, let's say hi to a few people here, and then we'll get going to some other announcements too. Sweet Lisa, yes, happy Thursday to everybody. Hope you guys are ready. Get ready for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I know we are. Shauna, as always, we always love when you guys join us in the chat. Cast 529, that is. Welcome, Mr. Castle. Cheers as always. Stan, we got to meet your father, which is below the chat below. But meet your father last Saturday at that meetup.
Yep.
That was great. That was a good time. That whole meetup, and I understand if you follow Cast 529's Discord,
Right.
there's a poll, and sometime in the summertime there's another meetup at New Riff.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be sometime in June. I thought.
Yeah, perhaps. So
Yeah.
make sure you go over there and vote. I think the poll closes up in the next day or two. Make sure you go over there, and that way you give Cast 529 an idea of when they have the next meetup. But we got to meet Husky Dog.
Yep.
We got to meet Whiskey Sippers, which we will be
Yep.
on their show next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
At
Yep.
6 o'clock,
Right.
prior to us coming on Bourbon and Ballz,
Right.
obviously. But we got to meet Keith.
Yep.
Obviously, Gandy.
Yep.
And a few other people
Mhm.
that kind of slip in my mind.
Miker and
Oh yeah. Oh, the whole gang.
yeah, the
there.
whole gang from Cask.
We all or most of us went out to dinner. We went to Buckhead's, and that was a fun time too.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And I think they went to the casino afterwards. I can't believe those wild people. It's like college days. They stayed up. I bet they stayed up about 14 hours.
Wow.
You know,
Man.
So, but
well, as far as Husky Dog, we talked about a certain kind of a lamp that we've got 3 of. And I would just say that the tag that you were talking about inside the shade of it, it's confirmed. So
you're talking in code right now. I have no idea what you're talking.
all right. Well, there's no secret. My grandmother, when she passed away, she had Tiffany lamps.
I don't know what those are.
They are the like the stained glass lamps,
Okay.
and they're real intricate, real kind of. They're multicolored. They're just very fancy looking.
What do you call those things in a church?
Stained glass?
Wait a minute. Is that it?
Stained glass windows?
I know, but there's another word for it. I think
No, stained glass windows.
with the multicolor.
Yeah, stained glass.
There's another name for it.
That's it. That's the name for it.
Well, shit,
But
I
anyway,
just-
she had 6 or 8 of them. I got 3. My sister got 3, and I think my parents got the other 2. Anyway, one of the things that Husky had mentioned to do to confirm if they are actual Tiffany lamps, that there's a copper or brass tag on the inside that said Tiffany's.
Okay.
And if you got that, supposedly they're worth $50,000
Oh, wow.
each.
Is that what you got?
Got 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
No wonder you don't want to mention it. All right, Jeff's address is. So, all right, well, that's cool. So,
Yeah,
anyways, Husky Dog, the whole gang. I hope more come next time. But that was definitely a blast. So, anyways, Hazmat's on. Cheers to you. Hopefully, you got your samples in as well. Let's see here. Lip Service Crew.
That's a new one.
Is that a new one?
I think
I
so.
think so too. So cheers to you. Everybody say hello to Lip Service Crew. Jenny B, hope you got your package. Hello. And Shauna says hello, Bob. Yes. And Bob obviously says Matt Bakowski, the OG of Bourbon and Ballz. He is on tonight. So thanks for coming on tonight. Mr. Morrow, Tom Morrow.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And so we need to have him back on, by the way.
We do. Yes, we do.
Because I think I felt a little
It was rushed.
It was rushed.
And it was our fault.
So anyways, we need to have him back on, of course. Ahead. Oh yes, we are ahead. So we are, yes. Sweet Lisa, 1 sample short. Do me a favor, Sweet Lisa. Email me at bourbonandballz@gmail.com and we will take care of you. I promise you that.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, Tony Lawrence. The new one?
Nope, he's been here before.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Brothers in Bourbon is
Brothers in Bourbon. Cheers to you. Anybody in the chat that has their own channel, please put it in the comments for people to check you guys out and see what you're all about. He did ask what we're all drinking real quick. Bob, what are you drinking right now? Or what were you drinking? Oh, no, you're drinking it.
the Cedarbrook.
Yeah, so Bob has been away for a little while, so we're trying to catch him up on some things. So we gave him the Judge earlier. And Bob, what do you think about the Judge?
Oh yeah, that's probably low 90s.
Low 90s for Bob. So
yeah.
You can see why that won Bourbon of the Year for us.
No, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Cedarbrook, what do you think of that?
I wasn't as fond of the nose, but the taste and the finisher right there.
Okay, so the taste and finish is good.
Probably in that same.
Okay, so maybe 80s, mid 80s.
Maybe high 80s.
High 80s. Okay. So yeah, he's liking McBrayer too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff. Thank you for sharing.
And then of course, I mean, the whole thing is yours.
You got the Whiskey War.
I have Whiskey War cigar cast.
Yep.
I love going back to that. And what are you drinking?
I have a 10-year MGP barrel pick from the Southwest Ohio Social Club. And I think we had this last week. And this is very good.
Okay.
Club pick.
Okay. Sorry, we're not getting we're slow on the comments, but I just now saw this as far as the Discord. Again, make sure you go to Cast 529 Discord to put in your answer for the poll. Mosaic. Thank you, Shauna.
Oh,
See, I knew I was right about something. And not just stainless steel, it's Mosaic.
Stained glass.
Okay, but no, Mosaic.
Yeah.
I know it as Mosaic.
Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. Gandy, cheers.
Candy.
Charlie's thinking of leaded glass. No, I don't know. I was thinking Mosaic.
Yeah.
Charlie thinks a lead paint.
You know what? Speaking of leaded paint, I had a dog die that way.
That's right.
I had a Rottweiler,
Oh.
and we had an old house that was made of lead paint. And we went away for the day, and he was an outside dog, inside dog. And we came home, and the poor pup was passed away on the front porch. And you saw what he was doing. He was trying to get in the door and chewing and it was lead paint. It was, anyways. Wow. I don't mean to bring everybody down. Weller's here though. He's around here somewhere. So Gandy, cheers to you, buddy. Sound like you and I need to chit chat about maybe a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that pretty soon. Yes, Tom, we will. You know what? Let's. I hate saying things and it doesn't happen. So
I'll reach out to Tom.
We'll reach out to you. Our PR person here. He'll reach out to you. Let's get you back on because I did feel rushed.
Yeah, because
so I apologize for that.
Yeah, we had something going on that night. I can't remember what it was.
I'm not sure. Charles, the rye guy.
Hey, Charles.
Thank you. He is the Dave Volgasang Jr. of Bourbon. Cheers. And then I think we are now caught up.
Okay.
Another announcement. March the 7th. Is that a Friday?
Yeah, that's the Friday. Yes, March 7th.
If you guys caught our little hint thing on our community page, Darla is going to work her way back once a month doing our lives. We're going to go Friday live.
Yep.
And Darla has agreed to join us on those Friday lives. We'll do like once a month. We don't really have a pattern yet as far as how often we're going to do it. I think we're just going to do it when our schedules matches up.
We'll still do the Thursday before, but then we'll follow up with the Friday. Yeah.
So it'll be 2 days of drinking. You know that, right?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I ain't got a problem.
Well, shit, we did 3 days drinking that one time.
Right. We did.
When we had that tasting.
Yeah.
And that was that's quite a bit. So Darla is going to be our Friday night live. So she's going to be back on a part-time basis. We're going easy on her. We don't want to sit there and scare her away. So she's agreed to do Fridays for us.
Yeah, so it's the Rye Guy's birthday. Happy birthday there, Rye
on March
Guy.
what, 7th?
And she just says happy birthday
today
to the Rye Guy.
Oh shit. Oh, that's another thing we need to do. We haven't done it yet.
No, we didn't. We need to.
We need to do a lot of things.
Yes, we do. And speaking of, you got a notepad over there, so good. We'll need some paper later.
To do what? Just write ideas down?
We know we got write our notes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Or you're right.
Yeah,
so on Patreon, we want to do this, and we'll do this soon. Of course, we say we'll do it soon. We never do it. But in my fantasy world, I want to celebrate people's birthdays on Patreon, and we send them a birthday sample.
Right.
And I wanted to get to them before their birthday so they can, whatever. So for those who are on Patreon, that is coming. I just don't know when. We're trying.
We're just going to get caught up on what we're supposed to ship.
So, all right. I don't want to keep our guests waiting too long. I just now noticed, and my apologies. So we have Mr. Simmons, Ted Simmons from Spirits Business. And we're going to talk about a few items. I'd like to talk about his post that I saw today about the pre-prohibition thing too as well. So without further ado, let's bring Ted onto the show on Bourbon and Ballz. Hello, Ted.
How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Where are you located at these days?
I am New York City based.
Okay.
And I hope you don't mind that we have
nice
one more joining us.
Oh, of course, we don't mind at all, and we always like extra guests on our show.
Yeah.
So why don't you real quick? Why don't you verse us real quick, especially to our audience that's watching live and also recorded later on this week and whatnot, who you are as far as your background in bourbon and how this all became.
Totally, yeah. So I am a spirits journalist. I've been a spirits journalist for almost 8 years now. I've been a spirits journalist for almost 8 years now. So I was an editor at Whiskey Advocate magazine for 5.5 years. And then I've been with spirits business for about 1.5 years. While I was at Advocate, I did a lot of tasting. I got to meet a lot of great distillers, but my background is really reporting. Sweetie, my background is really reporting. I'm a journalist by trade. And so I'm always on the hunt for good stories. I think, there's a lot of people on the internet, yourself, you guys included, who are like, this whiskey's good, this whiskey's less good, right? And I think that is, I think that social media has democratized the playing field for a lot of people to be able to contribute to whiskey discourse. But what I'm able to do is take my journalism background. Sweetie, you're gonna have to go upstairs. What I'm able to do is take my journalism background and go a little deeper than that, find stories, find sources, kind of connect the dots, and try to enrich this community. She just found a knife. Try to enrich this community that we love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your guys' interaction, what was that? Let the viewers know how that came to be and what that is all about.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go in. Yeah. So Spirits Business is the only spirits dedicated trade publication in the entire world. They're based in the UK and they release a monthly print issue, and each of those print issues has what they call the big story. And this is a news story that maybe we go a little deeper on. I covered American single malt regulations. I covered direct to consumer shipping. And so the Senator DeMora's bill came across my radar. I sent it to my editors. I said, hey, would you guys like this as a big story? Something that I go a little deeper on. I talked to some people who are close to the issue. And that's how I connected with Jeff.
Yeah, I think you saw Maggie and I communicating back and forth on LinkedIn is what how guys connected. Because we had seen this come through, and I think it was before Thanksgiving we brought it up, and it had hadn't really taken off yet. It was just kind of a few people kind of knew about it, and then it was like right after Thanksgiving or between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it just kind of took off mainstream wise when I think Pursuit United did an article on it. And then a couple other people had it on their YouTube channels. And then that's when, like I said, that's when you and I hooked up and we got to talking about it and trying to figure out where it was going and, how it was going to proceed and affect everybody.
Yeah. The way I view these things is, you have the issue, which is the bill. And you can talk specifically, sweetie, stop it. Sweetie, you have to go upstairs. We can talk specifically about the bill, but what really interests me is what the bill is trying to address. Okay. What the bill is trying to address, which is what I believe is inevitable blind spots in control states. That's what I think the larger issue is here. So honestly, the whole opening and closing bottles, I think that's dead on arrival. I don't think anyone's going to agree to that. I think brands, I had a very hard time getting brands to talk to me for this story because I say this in the story, but there's an argument to be made that the secondary market benefits these brands. Maybe Buffalo Trace isn't making the profit on that bottle of William LaRue Weller, but what it is, it's getting prestige, it's getting luster, it's getting mystique, it's demand, right? The demand remains high. And so I don't think that brands would ever support this. But I do think that Senator DeMora's heart is in the right place in terms of understanding that there's something that's unfair about this system, and something unfair about just the way that people exploit it.
Right.
So, my initial thought when I saw all this is I believe, if I'm correct, that that individual, that politician, he not to get political, but I mean it's a Democratic senator, but we live in a Republican state where that's where in itself I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I guess it arises conversation nonetheless. I don't mind the idea, quite frankly, almost like what Buffalo Trace does themselves when, we all go down there, they scan your license. Granted, there's going to be a cost to all the OHLQ to do that. And then they put you in almost like a, 90-day jail for that particular bottle. You don't come back. To me, I don't have a problem in that per se.
Look, I spoke to Becky Harris, who's the distiller at Catoctin Creek in Virginia, also a control state. She's the former president of the American Craft Spirits Association. And, her point was, this is never going to be solved until there's one uniform retail system across the country, right? And as long as you're able to go to Kentucky and buy bottles at a non-control state, people are just going to continue to do that. What's stopping people from necessarily buying bottles and then bringing them back into the state to resell them? It's not opening and closing bottles isn't a great idea. That's easy. How do we solve some of the unfairness that control states have inspired? It's not as easy of a question.
No, and I think I mentioned this to you. It sounded to us a little bit like the guy was a little salty because he wasn't able to get a bottle that he wanted, and he didn't want to go camp out. We get there the night before or whatever it is, whatever he was looking for. Which it happens. I'm very spoiled. I'm very privileged and spoiled. Okay, you need to go upstairs. I'm very privileged and spoiled. I don't think anyone should be camping out for anything. This is ridiculous, and we're taking a hobby and turning it into an obsession and turning it into something that is maybe not healthy for the rest of the people who enjoy this hobby. I'm of the opinion that but I say this from a very privileged and spoiled point of view. Yeah, and I guess we're kind of spoiled here in Ohio too because of that. Is that being a controlled state, we're not paying the prices that we would for secondary on some stuff, and and we on the flip side of that, we don't see a lot of stuff that's out there because the state actually controls what actually comes in too.
Yeah, and look, another issue that I didn't really address in the article, which is on spiritsbusiness.com now, I believe that a lot of bourbon consumers have a myopic point of view when it comes to chasing the same 10 things. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of great whiskeys out there. And if we're all chasing the same 10 bottles, then the secondary market is naturally going to explode. I think I would encourage consumers to, if you can't access something, that's okay. Life goes on. There's other whiskeys out there. Okay. I may never own a Pappy Van Winkle. I'm okay with that. I sleep good at night. I think we need to, as consumers, have a shift in our mindsets to stop reaching for the top 1% of what's out there and understand that there's so much good stuff out there and that we're really only sort of harming ourselves when we're competing for the same things.
No, you're exactly right. And I think a lot of these people, especially I think the people that we talk to now, and even in the chat, they would agree too, is like, a lot of us, we're at the point in our lives where we're kind of almost past those points where we are now. I'm into craft bourbon. I celebrate craft bourbons more than anything else. Yeah, I love finding those craft distilleries that I'm not used to drinking. I have more thrill off of that than, granted, I'm being a little hypocritical right now because you see all these balls back here. But
Yeah.
my point is, I don't touch them as often, but I go to my craft shelves a ton more, and because I enjoy those things, I enjoy the stories behind it. So
Yeah, so I mean, can you legislate flippers away? I don't know. There's, Senator DeMore talked about increasing law enforcement, increasing the fine for flippers and using those fines to pay for that increased law enforcement. I don't know that there's an easy solution. Like I said, I think what I would really ask is for the consumer to look inward and stop being so myopic on the things that the internet tells us that we have to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what would happen. You get these people that'll camp out all night long, they'll get a bottle, and by 9 o'clock in the morning, you start skimming through Facebook, and 4 or 5 people got that bottle up for 3 times what they actually paid for.
Yeah, you see all those crotch shots.
Yeah.
It just, oh my God, it just gets on my nerves. But I will say this, to be fair, because I'm at fault to a point where I would collect a lot of Red Weller here in Ohio because it's currency, and it gets me to other bottles that I would not get to otherwise. And it's good tradable stuff.
Well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna participate in the game or take yourself out? I mean,
right. Yeah.
It's this is the landscape of whiskey right now. And one thing that I really tried to touch on in the article was flipping is not new. When I was at Advocate, we covered this stuff years ago. Bourbon black market, this stuff is not new. It's not going away. All we can sort of do is maybe increase awareness, which I think was what Senator DeMora was really trying to get at. But again, I find the bill to only be the on-ramp to the highway of the larger issue, which is, the issue, the problem with control states, the problem with flippers, the problem with people who are, making unhealthy life decisions to go and get a bottle of whiskey. What are we doing?
Right. No, I totally agree. So
And I'm curious to see. I know he mentioned that he's going to revive it because it did expire at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if he revives it, if he does any kind of revamping or rewording of some of the things in there. I don't know. We'll see.
But I mean, it's not hard to get a House bill or a bill period just to.
True.
And it'll get lost. It'll stay on the Ohio.
To address some of the was he salty that he missed on things? I think that he views his experience as emblematic of other people, of his constituents. So I don't know that he's necessarily saying, I'm mad that I couldn't get Russell's 15. I think he's more so saying this system is broken. And if I can recognize that, then other people can too. I think that's kind of all he was saying, but he told me he was a bourbon lover. I think, like I said, I think he was well-intended with the bill.
No. Well, like I said,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on to something else too is, and I was at work when I saw this, and it was just I don't know. It's one of those things where how your phones listen to you, and then all of a sudden, on your feed, all kinds of things come up to things that you're talking about. But I saw an article of yours. I was not able to click on it, but I was interested on the headline for you to maybe elaborate and tell the viewers there maybe what that article was about. But I saw an article written by you. It was about the pre-prohibition bottles.
Of Green River?
I believe so, yeah. What was that all about?
Yeah.
It sounded like a pretty exciting article, which I tend to get to probably off air tonight or tomorrow. But what is that?
Yeah, it's a quick read, I promise.
Okay.
I am based in New York. So I am Spirits. I'm the only U.S. employee for Spirits Business. I am their U.S. correspondent. And being based in New York means that I get access to a lot of events. A lot of whiskey makers come to New York for events, things like that, interviews. Excuse me. I was contacted. Somebody let me know that Dan Calloway from Bardstown Bourbon Company was going to be in New York. Would I have time to meet with him? I live in the suburbs of New York. I don't live in the city, so it's not super, I got to take time out of my day. I have a family, as everybody here has seen. And I would typically pass on an opportunity like that just because if it's not super lined up with my schedule. I do a lot of reporting from my basement. I do a lot of work from home. So what they told me that Dan was going to be in town because Sotheby's was holding an American bourbon and rye whiskey auction, and Dan was notified that a number of Green River bottles were going to go under the hammer, 3 post-prohibition, 1 pre-prohibition. And so I said, if I could be the only person who tails him for that, then I would come in on a Saturday. And so that's what I did. And that was such an incredible experience. I had never been on the Sotheby's floor before. They have an incredible bar. They were pouring Michter's 10. I have photos I can share. They were pouring all sorts of old antique whiskeys, things totally for free. And Dan was there to purchase 4 bottles of Green River. And I don't know if you want me to spoil the end of this story or not. What's that?
Go ahead, because I'm still going to read it, but I'm curious now.
Okay, so I met up with him in Midtown before. We got a drink. We talked about, there's so much going on with Bard. I see you guys got some Bardstown on the table there. There's so much going on with them with regard to contract distilling, with regard to expansions, with regards to acquisitions. And then that's even before you get to their own brands, right? Their own, they had huge success with the Amrut collaboration last year. And so we met for a drink. We talked about all that stuff. We talked about his strategy going in, and he won all 4 of the bottles, including the pre-prohibition bottle for $10,000.
Wow,
man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What's interesting that he told me was, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but Bardstown Bourbon Company has what they call a living library down at their distillery, and that allows people to drink antique whiskeys by the ounce. Now, there's a menu online, and these are not cheap whiskeys to enjoy, but it's not $10,000 or $1,200, right? And so one of the post-prohibition whiskeys that he got, he told me would make its way to the living library. And so, consumers would have the opportunity to go to Bardstown, sample this whiskey at a per ounce cost.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that menu too.
So my story was really about what brought him to New York, this living library, how Bardstown acquired Green River. It's still fairly recent. They acquired them in summer 2022. So we're not even 3 years in. And so, like I said before, just trying to connect these dots and tell a story that enriches people's understanding of the industry.
Right. And I think even in the small, short years that they have owned Green River, has been a noticeable difference. I remember I talked to Aaron Harris, the master distiller over at Green River. I was out there on a barrel pick, and I remember, years before he came on, we had Green River, and it was god awful.
It was bad.
And then now you look at, obviously they've kind of revitalized themselves, almost like a comeback whiskey when it comes to the Green River Foolproof. And what an amazing bottle that is.
And I just wrote a story for the website yesterday that went up today. Green River just launched its very first ad campaign. And so I think this is a brand that you're going to see Bardstown putting dollars behind, both on the Sotheby's auction floor and in the marketing sense. Okay. And I think I'm always fascinated by this kind of looking forwards, looking backwards of whiskey, right? Understanding right. We love innovation in our category, right? What off the wall ideas are you cooking up? And so we love that idea of pushing the industry forward through innovation. But I also really love the history and the heritage that exists within our industry. And so I really see Bardstown and Green River being owned by the same company allows them to both look forward and look backwards at the same time.
So speaking of the industry, the spirits industry in itself, where do you see single malt coming onto the scene now as of late, as far as it being a now their own category. Where do you see them headed to as far as when it's compared to the rise in the bourbons of the world?
American single malt, you mean, right?
Yes.
So one thing I tried to explain to people is that rye has made a huge comeback in the last 10 to 20 years. It is a fraction of bourbon. Okay.
Right.
So we also have to understand, I said before that I'm spoiled and privileged. We also have to understand that we don't necessarily represent the everyday whiskey drinker, right? We represent a top percentage of collectors, of consumers, of people, right? And so the average consumer, but I'll get to your answer. I did a private tasting and in Philadelphia, and I was making Manhattans, and I gave people the option, a bottled and bond bourbon or a bottled and bond rye for your Manhattans, and every single person picked bourbon. Okay. I personally like to make my whiskey cocktails with rye. Little insights like that clue me into where the everyday consumer is. So rye has made this huge comeback in the past 10 to 20 years, and yet it is still just a fraction of what bourbon is. And so now, if we're going to talk about American single malt is going to be a fraction of what rye is. This is just the natural pie chart of American whiskey consumption. Another thing that I think a lot of people don't, we appreciate that bourbon has been around for hundreds of years. Bourbon was not made the official spirit of America until the 60s. Okay. And so we're not even, 180 years into this. And so for there to be a new category of spirit type in American whiskey is enormous. And I don't know if you know this about bourbon. I'm sure you guys do. The 80s, the 90s, not the best time, right?
Right. It's all clear spirits.
Right. And so bourbon has taken this journey over decades to become what it is today. And I think you're going to see that in rye, it's going to be the same way. In American single malt, it's going to be the same way. American single malt is a category that is like 10 or 20 years old. I always say, in the grand scheme of whiskey history, that's a drop in the bucket, right? When you have a Beam who's been around for 200 years, or you have these Scotch whiskey distilleries that have been around for even longer. And so when we're talking about a category that is 10 to 20 years old and just got recognition by the TTB, I think it's important to have that historical context about bourbon struggling in the 80s and 90s, only being recognized in the 60s, and understanding that these things take time. And I oftentimes think that distillers are, I say, at least 5 years ahead of consumers, but in this case, it may even be more. Distillers are creating things that consumers will need time to catch up to.
Yeah, and do you see it being more of your craft distillers than the big five or big six getting into this?
I mean, look, Beam has a single malt, Diageo has a single malt. I think that these are products that they maybe feel required to make. If you ask me, if you came to me and said, "Hey, I don't know anything about American single malt, give me a starter pack," Stranahan's has 10-year-old age statements on their American single malt. They're, to my knowledge, the only distillery in America that has that. I think they just released a 12-year limited edition age statement as well. Age statements are king in Scotch, right? And so I think over time, you're going to see more 10s and 12s winding up on those bottles, which I think will help consumers be open to those categories. Who else? Listen, Pacific Northwest, Westward, Westland, they're doing amazing things up there, and they're entirely committed to that style. Same as Stranahan's, Westward, Westland, Virginia Distillery Co. They're doing amazing things with cask finishing. I think what's really beautiful about American single malt is the climate in Scotland is uniform, which means that when we talk about the aging and the maturation process, there's not a whole lot of differentiation. the climate in America is incredibly diverse. And so when we're talking about American single malt, and this is true of bourbon as well, but I believe to a lesser extent, when we talk about American single malt that's made in Portland versus made in Virginia versus made in Texas, these are such wildly different whiskeys. And if your goal is to pursue flavor, if your goal is to expand your palate, if your goal is to seek out new and interesting things, American single malt has so much potential. I think of Santa Fe Spirits in New Mexico, which is making mesquite smoked single malt. So this is whiskey that is telling you a story of where it's from, right? It's what is Southwest single malt versus northwest single malt versus northeast single malt. They're the same, but they're different. I love Old Line as well. I've worked with Mark, and they're great guys over there. There's so much potential, but education is a huge piece. You know, getting people people don't want to spend their money, right? Yeah. You really got to convince people that what you're giving them is worth their money. And if it's a category they're not familiar with, they're just going to be way more hesitant to do that.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, we do it on the bourbon side. If there's something we don't know about or haven't tried before, we're kind of hesitant to put that dollar out there for it.
Yeah, I mean, I also get hesitant when, you know, you get these craft distillers, and this is a compliment to them for picking out good barrels from either from MGP or whatever, and they craft it to be their own, right? And then, you know, they have aging barrels to hopefully one day, you know, to make things cheaper on their end of, you know, basically to go on their own. To me, that's a risky move. I don't think a whole lot of people can do that, or at least I've no more failures in that category than I do successes, or at least to my knowledge.
Right.
And a few of them come to my mind.
If you look at the parent company, right? So we're talking about, you know, is Claremont Steep from Jim Beam taking off? Not really. Is Diageo's American single malt is Bulleit's American single malt taking off? Not really. You know, Remy owns Westland. Diageo owns Westward. Proximo owns Stranahan's. These are brands that are not going anywhere. I promise you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so these are not small craft brands that are hanging on by a thread. These are brands who have invested decades into this style, and I believe are really going to be looked at as trailblazers for the style. And to bring it back to the secondary market, back to collecting, we can't be chasing what's now. We have to be chasing what's next. And if I use Yamazaki 12 all the time, or Hibiki Harmony. I used to buy Hibiki Harmony for $65. It's $100 on every shelf now. Diageo bought Balcones about 2-3 years ago, but also true. They're not as committed to American single malt. They make all sorts of styles of whiskey. If you're a person who's interested in growing your collection, if you're a person who's interested in acquiring bottles that will appreciate over time, even if it's just for your own enjoyment, American single malt has so much potential.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Lineage over there that we just picked up. That's from Balcones. And we've yet to crack it. It's on our list of things to do.
Look, they're different. It took me a while, you know. It took me a while to get adjusted to this style, as it would anyone.
What is that? I'm sorry not to be nosy, but it's on the camera screen. What is to the right of the High West Burr Rye looking thing? What is that? Black?
That's blackened, isn't it?
Is that blackened? Right there.
Right here?
Yeah, what is that?
This is Teeling Black Pits.
What is that?
That's like Irish.
This is a peated Irish single malt.
Yeah.
Wow. Bob, you like that?
Yeah.
We have Bob off camera, and he's a big Scotch Irish guy, right?
Yeah.
There's so much value in Irish single malts. Such an underloved style. I love Teeling. I love what Teeling does. When I was at Advocate, that whiskey landed at number 3 on the top 20 list. And everybody complains, you know, that list is based on value, but then as soon as it makes the list, the prices go up, right? This is sort of the unfortunate result of list making. What I like to do with those lists, squirrel those bottles away in your head. Give it you know, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was the first ever whiskey of the year that we named. You know, sometimes you see that at $100, but you can find it at 65, right? And so I think you don't necessarily want to buy into the hype of a bottle at the very height of the hype, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
like as soon as a bottle is named whiskey of the year, yeah, the prices are going to go up. Give it a year, give it 2 years, try it at a bar, see if you like it. And then once that hype cycle passes, you'll be able to get that. I got that for $50.
Okay.
Yeah, you talk about the Elijah Craig. This is the new A125,
Yeah.
and just found it for $70
Yeah.
sitting on the shelf.
Now I don't expect a whole lot out of that, because I think traditionally, obviously, we all know, you know, A, B, and C, they kind of go in that order. Usually, everybody wants to go after the C batch, but nevertheless, it's still, I like, you know, some of the A batches are really good.
I couldn't speak to, you know, since I've left Advocate and transitioned into more of a reporter role, I have stepped back from being a taster. So when I was at Advocate, I was on their tasting panel. I was tasting multiple times a week. I've tried to create better habits and boundaries for myself and engage with the work in a non-consumptive way as much as possible.
Well, that's gotta be hard to do.
Listen, you need some self-restraint in this industry. And if you don't, you're in trouble.
Yep, you do.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, this was I love educational stuff. I love hearing from people that we have not heard from.
Hit me with more. Come on, I usually ask the questions.
No, I love this kind of stuff, and I appreciate you for coming on and giving us your time. One more time, though, tell the viewers out there how and where can they find you.
Right. So I'm Ted Simmons, U.S. correspondent at the Spirits Business. You can find me at Teddy Drinks on Instagram, and subscribe to the Spirits Business newsletter. There's a U.S. specific newsletter that goes out twice a week. It will give you, it's free. Not many industry newsletters are free. It will hit your inbox, you know, before 9 a.m. every morning. Not every morning, but the daily one will hit every morning. The US one is Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a great way to stay informed. It's a great way to see what I'm writing about for the Spirits Business. And it's just a browse. I mean, we're all browsing our phones all the time, right? And so if you want to stay clued in to what's happening in the industry on a business level and touching on some of the things that I touched about, and also, again, reading some of my work, subscribe to that newsletter. Follow me at Teddy Drinks.
Wonderful.
Speaking of the industry, what are your opinion? Where do you see things going as far as, you know, the whole bourbon world, and as far as, you know, you see that everybody's saying that the bubble has burst, and, you know, and now we got these tariffs coming up that's going to threaten a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you kind of see things in your little bubble there, where you see them going?
You know, Fawn Weaver from Uncle Nearest published an essay on our
I love her. She's great.
on our website recently. She was like, stop saying the sky is falling. So what happened was during COVID, everybody had increased disposable income, and they had increased leisure time. And so what that meant was, like, during COVID, liquor stores profited, bars and restaurants did terribly, right? Because everybody was buying booze to consume in their home. And so we were riding this bourbon boom heading into the pandemic, right? So I joined the industry in 2017. So 2017, 2018, 2019, things are continuing to crest. COVID hits, those numbers grow, but that growth wasn't sustainable or indicative of actual long-term trends. It was it's the blip, right? There's this COVID blip that demand increased, and then you see a lot of people. I spoke to Dan Calloway at Bardstown about this. You see a lot of brands who were investing in expansions or visitor, a lot of growth, right? And so 2017 to 2020, we have this growing industry. The pandemic hits, it grows, but in reality, that was kind of smoke and mirrors, and a lot of brands made investment choices based on that growth, and independently they maybe weren't bad decisions, but when you have these brands across the board making the same decisions, right? Entering new markets, adding, expanding their distilleries, expanding their warehousing, right? And now what we're seeing is that COVID blip is starting to normalize. And so there's no denying that. I like to say, American whiskey has lost a little bit of its steam, right? I don't think that it's in trouble. A lot of the people who I talk to say you can't compare 2024 numbers to 2022 numbers. You have to compare them to 2019 numbers, and we're still above where we were in 2019. So overall, and this was Fawn's point in the essay, overall the industry is doing well. If you just remove those COVID years, there would perhaps be no real signs of slowing down. It's true that tequila is the most consumed spirit in the US. It's true that NA products are more prevalent than ever. It's true that people are practicing, sober curiosity. And, I took 3 weeks off from drinking in January. All of these things are true, but whiskey can weather these market shifts. And you'll see on the fringes, you'll see craft distillers close. You'll see, MGP announced that it would be reducing its production in 2025 to focus on its contract partners. You see Jack Daniel's closing its Louisville cooperage, right? And so I think you can track a lot of these news happenings as reflective of a little bit of contraction in the market. I don't think bourbon is a sinking ship. I think we just got too used to fair skies.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a great point.
What I kind of see, I kind of foresee we're going to start seeing a lot more older age stated bottles coming out, because they do have they got the stock, they got it sitting there. In my mind, they're going to start releasing the 10-year-old plus.
Yeah. I think the last thing that brands want to do is drop the price of bottles, right? So like using Scotch whiskey as an example, Glenmorangie just raised the age statement on their original from 10 to 12. So rather than dropping the price on that 10-year whiskey, they raised the age, and then maybe they raised the price by like $5. And so I think more likely what you're going to see is like you see this with Knob Creek a lot, right? Like Knob Creek is constantly playing with its age statements, right? Yeah. I think that rye just went up to 10. So I think what you might see is, I don't know that we'll see prices come down necessarily, but to your point, we may see that age statement go up a year or two to then justify keeping that price where it is, or even increasing it marginally. Brands do not want to drop prices. There's no going back from dropping prices.
Right. Yeah. You
brought up a good point about Knob Creek. They're confusing me. Really, I don't know what they're doing. They're just confusing the hell out of me.
New products drive sales. They drive clicks, right? And so it's like, I'm not going to write about a whiskey unless it's news. And the way a whiskey becomes news is if it's a new product or if they change it. It's Eagle Rare 12, also an example, right? We're going to see those age statements go up so that the brands don't have to bring the price down. I think you see a lot of the major brands flooding the market with product. and it can be confusing at times for sure. And not everybody does it to the same degree of success, but new products drive sales. It's just a fact.
True. Yep.
Right.
True.
No,
And
you're
so,
right.
and so, that's never going to change. It's more so the strategy behind those new products.
Yeah.
Well, you gave me something to think about.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
I think
guess
about this stuff way too much. Listen,
But
you know what I do?
What's that?
I'll go to the liquor store and spend 30 minutes looking at the whiskey shelf and walk
Yeah.
out with 4 bottles of wine. Okay? Because I just want to know what's on red line, right? Like what's marked down, right? Like my local liquor store oftentimes has like Macallan double cask for $5 under SRP. I don't buy it. I've had that whiskey. It's a fine whiskey, but okay, maybe that particular product is overstocked and they can't move it, and that's why they put it on clearance. Or
Sure.
I'll look at what new products are on the shelf, you know. If there's if some, you know, I participate in these Jack Daniel's 10, 12, 14-year-old tastings, right? Like if you have that bottle on the shelf at $500, that's communicating a lot to me about who you are as a retailer and where that product exists in the marketplace right now. And so I'll go around and snap pictures just of things. I'm like, oh, if I was in the market, I would buy that, but I'm actually just here for wine. And so, you know, it's research. It's all research. It's all knowledge. It's all understanding. It's all getting to a point where we're not chasing those same 10 bottles anymore. I don't need to tell you that Old Fitzgerald is good. I might have to tell you that Teeling Black Pits is good. And that is what I want to be doing as a member of this community, is shining a light on the lesser known bottles, the lesser known labels, the lesser known categories, to again enrich everybody's drinking experience. It's a humongous ocean of whiskey out there. We don't all need to be trying to get into the same life raft.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. And nothing excites me more than finding a bottle I've never heard of and tasting it and thinking, oh my God, this is great stuff. And then telling everybody else about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And, you know, it's, I asked Dan Calloway this, and I'll have a Q&A with him coming out in the next issue of Spirits Business. But, you know, I asked him, do you feel like, do you feel seasoned or new? And this is something I ask myself all the time. You know, I spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. I'm not even a decade into this industry. I've been around Jimmy Russell. I've been around Fred No. I've been around David Stewart from Balvenie, Richard Patterson from Dalmore. I've been around Rachel Berry from Glendronach. I've been around like some of the most brilliant whiskey minds of our generation. And it's a tremendously humbling experience when you're able to share a dram with these people. And I think for me, that humility and that connection is what's so important about whiskey, not waiting in line to get the bottle that you then flip for profit. I think for me, it's about talking with somebody, sharing it. You know, what I always say is this stuff is just expensive grain water until there's 2 people sitting on the other side of a table. Okay. Do you know what the value of any of these bottles are with no people on the planet? Nothing. It's the people that give them value.
Yeah.
Right. And so these things are special because we share them with each other, not because they are special in and of themselves.
Right. And that's kind of the way we do with, I mean, we get a good bottle, we'll crack it, you know. And
well, I would imagine, we probably have like 300 bottles here, 400 bottles, whatever, and I bet you 90% of these bottles are open. I'm not one to collect, and that's fine. I don't care. That's fine if you guys want to collect, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, shit, that's how I started, and I stared at it, and then it just, you know, occurred to me like, what am I personally, for me, like, what am I doing? I want to try these things, and my God, it has just opened up a whole world of just what is out there, and it's never ending. I love it.
Look, this Teeling Black Pits is not open. But if you were here with me right now and you said, "What is that?" it would be open in 10 seconds.
Yeah, there you go.
What's your
Yeah.
address?
What's that?
That's
And
just,
So I mean, some obscure bourbons that we have found along our journey just pops out of my head, where I just think that they're just very innovative. Like a JT Mellick.
yes.
That is a pure rice whiskey. What a phenomenal pour, and what a story that they have there down in Louisiana, right? How much do you know about them, or any other craft distillers that maybe we don't know about?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's something like 3,100 distillers in the country, and so you would need a larger brain than I have to know them all. But I've had JT Mellick, I've had that rice whiskey. It's interesting. It's a curiosity for sure. And it's people like the American single malt producers betting on themselves and betting on something that isn't being done before. When I pitch an idea for a story, I have to ask, has this story been told before? And I think that there's a lot of whiskey makers who are not asking themselves that question. Has this story been told before? You have some 12-year-old Tennessee whiskey that's bottled at 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've heard that story before, right?
Right. No, you're right.
It's what made Fawn such a big figure in this industry, was she was telling a story that hasn't been told before. I like High Wire out of South Carolina. They're doing a Jimmy Red Corn bourbon. When I think of Lost Lantern, are you guys familiar with Lost Lantern?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. I have a bottle of it.
So they do an amazing job. If you're interested in understanding the vast landscape of craft whiskey, just follow Lost Lantern and they will do the work for you.
Really? Okay.
They just follow their collections. Look at, when they release, they do a summer of bourbon every year. Just look at the producers they're working with. Frey Ranch in Nevada, incredible stuff.
Yeah.
That they do a lot. Lost Lantern does a lot of stuff in the Midwest near you guys too, right? That grain belt, right, where a lot of those good grains grow. And so rather than needing to sit down and do your own homework, they are doing the homework and then bottling what they believe to be the best. And I would endorse every single one of their products. But if you didn't want to purchase it, if you only wanted to take notes, there's tremendous value there too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that whole story. I just knew them as a recommendation. I was at, I don't know, Total Wine in California.
Yeah.
And
so they're an American independent bottler, which is not a very common thing. So independent bottlers are very common in Scotch. Gordon MacPhail, Cadenhead, Signatory, right? These are brands that buy casks from reputable distilleries, and then either those casks are sometimes off profile for the distilleries, right? And so like if you're Glenlivet and you have this weird port finish that didn't age exactly how you wanted it to, you might sell it to an independent bottler who could then continue to monitor that and then say, hey, we have this single cask, however old Glenlivet, right? And so you're starting to see that more within American whiskey. And Lost Lantern, Adam and Nora do an amazing job at this, of touring the country, having great relationships with distillers, and looking for those off-profile barrels, looking for those one-off experiments that maybe aren't going to get bottled, but then also just looking for exceptional single casks. And it's like a legend. It's like a key. It's like a code breaker.
Wow.
Well, Gandy says that you should do Mount Rushmore brand advocates. Mia from JT Mellick and Tom Morrow would be two that comes to his mind. But
there's tremendous advocates across the industry, more than I know. I know my New York people, but there's people who are telling these stories in really great and fascinating ways, and I just hope to contribute to some of that storytelling.
Well, you do a fantastic job, and
Yes.
I hope you guys have had fun. Those who are in chat and watching and watching on the replay. I hope you guys end up going to his website. Follow him on the Instagram. I know we mentioned about 15 minutes ago, but I know we had a few people on since then. I hate to be the broken record, but I'm sorry. But mention that one more time for the viewers, and then we won't take much more of your time.
Self promo is one of my least favorite parts of this job, but it is undoubtedly necessary.
Yes.
Ted Simmons, U.S. correspondent for the spirits business, at Teddy Drinks on Instagram. You're going to get a lot of sometimes it's what I'm sharing, sometimes it's what I'm writing, sometimes it's what I'm drinking, sometimes it's dad life, right? I think one thing I try to always, I write about spirits for a living. I obviously love doing this stuff. I think a lot about it. I care very deeply about it. I try not to make it the only piece of my personality. And so I love the Mets. You guys like sports, right? And so I'm getting ready for baseball season, or I love the Oscars. I love movies. And so sometimes I feel like people follow me expecting all of this like whiskey content, and then it's like toddler hanging off of my head content, which you guys got to see today. And so I just like to try to spice it up because it keeps me from getting bored.
No, I think it's entertaining, and it's passionate, and I think I like hearing from other people that are like-minded like us, and it keeps us interested day to day.
It does, absolutely.
So
so listen, read the spirits business, follow me on Instagram. This stuff is ever evolving. I think, when we talk about tariffs, when we talk about the bourbon bubble bursting, this stuff is not falling off a cliff, right? This stuff is an evolution. This stuff is, we're going to continue to be talking about these things until we're all in the ground, right? And so, if you want to be engaged in that kind of stuff, it's a great way to do that. If you want to go to your liquor store and understand how things got to be where they are, it's a little bit seeing behind the matrix, right? If you want to look at that shelf and see the zeros and ones instead of seeing all the bottles, right? It's a great way. Spirits business is a great way to stay informed. And just, there's so much, I like to say, this stuff can be as shallow or as deep as you want it to be. This can be, hey, I like Four Roses and that's all I care about. And I just buy a bottle of Four Roses and don't tell me anything more. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for participating in our culture. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Or you can say, I want to know about yeast strains and I want to know about mash bills and what does OBSV mean? And you can go deep. It's up to you. You can go as shallow or as deep as you want. But if you want to come to the deep end, that's where you'll find me.
All right. Very good.
All right.
What a way to end that interview. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this again myself.
Yeah.
Just to hear everything that you have said, and obviously check out everything that all the other platforms that you're on.
Yep. And we got a link on our Facebook page and all of our other socials to that article that you wrote for the Ohio deal.
Yes.
And I'll keep an eye on things with that and see if anything crops back up, and kind of give you a heads up if it does.
Yes, and of course, I know you heard this joke before, but thanks for the TED Talk, and I appreciate you, and I would love to have you back on as we get more into. We didn't have time tonight, and maybe we'll do another night as talk about the tariffs. Who knows where they're at that point? But
that stuff is changing by the day. Are you kidding me? That stuff, that stuff makes my head spin.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's talk more about that another time. And
you can have me on. I will say, on the Ohio liquor bill front, when I cover something like that, I don't typically go back to it. For something like tariffs, I got to update that every few weeks.
Yeah.
American single malt regulations, that got a lot of press. Usually I get a lot. Sometimes I'll publish something and I'll get people will reach out to me. Hey, if you ever write about this again, well, I literally just wrote about it. So, the likelihood of that happening is pretty slim. But, it is something that I've done a lot of reporting and research on, and I can speak to tariffs as well. They're bad for business.
Yes.
Sure, exactly. So, all right. Well, thanks for having, taking time out of your day.
Yep.
We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll get you on again down the road.
Peace.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Cheers.
Holy Moses, I got to rewatch that. You gonna get you another pour or something?
Yes, I am.
So that was amazing. So I mean, we don't claim to be anybody, and we're not. We're here because of you guys, and I've said that a gazillion times. But hopefully, for those who want to learn more about bourbon, learn it from someone else that's smarter than us. A guy like Ted. Hopefully, we can bring you those people from time to time, and you can go search their website, go search their things, and learn more about what's going on in the whiskey world for those who want to. I think he said it best as we can learn it as shallow as we want to, or go as deep as you want to. But it sounds like obviously he's a man of someone who knows what he's talking about. But yeah, what a great guy. And we're gonna have someone else coming up here in a couple of weeks too that I'm excited for.
Yep.
Mark Gillespie from the Whiskey Cask. I cannot wait to have him on. I think we're going to have just as much as fun with him in a few weeks. And he is renowned. I've been listening to him from day one since I got into the bourbon world, and I learned a lot from him. So,
Well, it's actually it's next week.
oh shit. Okay. Well, I leave it all up to Jeff. He just tells me when to turn the lights on and when to show up. And
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Mark Gillespie next week. The following week we got Ed Bly.
oh yeah, Ed Bly's coming on.
Yep.
He's
March
the
6th.
maker of Old Stubborn.
Old Stubborn, yeah. Yeah.
So we are far behind, and usually our interviews last about a half an hour, 40 minutes. But I apologize for taking a lot of your guys' time. But I don't think you guys mind it. So let's get to the fun and games. And also, for those who would join a little later, in the background, sipping his 13th colony right now. We got Bob with us. So Bob, if you want to say hello to the new people that are on.
Cheers, everybody.
Yes. So he's I knew you liked that because you had originally
Yes,
So
yes, that's very good.
I might give that man a 13th colony, and he's good for a few
Is
minutes.
that the 15-year?
Yeah, really rich.
That's good.
Yeah. I think that was what second or
Second.
third.
Second or third. I think it came in behind
For a bourbon of the year?
Russell's 15. I think. No, actually, it came in farther down than that
Yeah. Okay.
because it didn't make our top 4.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get to some fun and games. You know what? Because that's why we're here. We're also here to learn about bourbon. So let's get through this bourbon brawl.
Yes.
We are continuing our Bardstown series. You're trying to grab that without looking? It's glass. You're 1 for 1. Can you grab the other one?
Look at that.
Very good. You gotta get 4 of them.
I know.
So we are going to blind our Bardstown. We continue on our series, which, by the way, Monday's episode we are going to do. Well, you'll see. We don't know yet. We'll see. It's a start. The champion right now, at least up on the Bardstown thing, is Bardstown Discovery 7 versus Bardstown Discovery 6.
Need a marker down
You
there.
need a marker down there. So while you do all that, I'm gonna keep on yapping.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. What did we cover? Oh, friendly reminder for those who join down a little later. Make sure you go to Cast 529's Discord. Their poll is going to close up in the next day or two about meetup, which I noticed Chad was in the chat room. Welcome, Chad. Welcome, Bloody. Feel free to put your own stuff in here. As far Dave Vogelsang is here. Thanks for joining us. Steven Scone. Everybody, listen up. 500 subscriber live tomorrow night. He's pre-gaming Cast 529. So please join him, and let's see what he's got in store for everyone as he celebrates 500 subscriber live tomorrow night before Cast 529 goes on. I believe 8 o'clock, and they are going to have the I'm not going to say Three Musketeers. They haven't coined themselves, but Brian and the guys with Sean in the background, they are going to do a 15-year lineup. I can't wait to I can't wait to see how that turns out. So anyhow, congrats, Steve, and we'll be cheering you on tomorrow night. And that's where I got with that.
Let's see what else. There's something else going on.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you guys what we did yesterday.
Oh well, yeah, that's yeah.
I told Brian yesterday from Cask why you do that. So you know how we are McBrayer homers, and I have no shame in that whatsoever. And to be fair, we actually liked McBrayer before we met McBrayer. So let's get that straight. However, Jeff and I took off work yesterday as we were invited, albeit God love the guy, last minute. And we, when McBrayer calls, you do what he asks you to do, basically.
Yep.
So we got to partake in the upcoming batch 5 of the Judge as far as what it's going to taste. I'm going to tell you folks, I've done barrel picks and I've done other things in my whiskey life. This took the cake. This was mind-blowing. Still trying to wrap my head around what we did yesterday, but we spent 3 hours with this gentleman, this consultant, and I've never seen anything like it.
I haven't either. This guy his name was Sam. He used to work for MGP
For about 12 years.
Now he's kind of out on his own.
Yeah.
He's a consultant working with some of these craft distillers and helping them with their blending process and putting everything together. And I tell you what, it was literally like there was, if you watch, we've mentioned the Matrix a couple times already tonight. You see, you got the green screen with all the numbers and letters and everything kind of floating down, and you got people that actually can read through all that crap.
Yeah.
Sam had a spreadsheet, and he had 46 barrels, and he had them all lined up on his spreadsheet, all coded and numbered, and all the notes and these scorings and everything else. And he was able to go through and say, okay, this, and this, and this, and this. We're going to try that, and we're going to blend this.
And there was moments where
wild.
we all right, we'd like to have it more creamier.
Yeah.
So he'd make another concoction. It'd be the same concoction, but he'd add a little barrel here, a barrel there to make it creamier. It's like, all right, we want more high proof. And he would do that.
We want a long
and then
finish.
collectively, we want a long finish, and we did that. And collectively, obviously, it's up to the final say so. Of course, it should be to Bill McBrayer herself. But we were so lucky to be a part of that bottling experience. I would call it a bottling experience, but
it was a
tasting
blending.
experience.
It was a whole blending.
And I would say he's about 90% there. He's gonna maybe tweak it one more time or two.
Because we did like
it should come out probably in May. It'll be batch 5 of the Judge.
Yeah. And
I'm so excited to be a part of that.
They were kind of like even pours.
Mhm.
Like they would take 15. There's going to be a 15 barrel blend. So they were taking like a half ounce of each barrel and putting it all together. What he's going to do is go back and say, okay, that half ounce for this barrel, maybe it needs to be 3/4 of an ounce. Or
Yes,
a half
correct.
ounce
We did that too. Yes.
to kind of tweak that.
But anyway, the whole experience in itself was fun. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Obviously, we're going to buy a few bottles ourselves. But, as you guys well know, the Judge McBrayer. Bob, you tried it tonight. What did you think, in all honesty?
That was wonderful. I'd say easy, early 90s.
And then in the low 90s, yeah. Bob scored the low 90s. And if you guys want to see a guy who has the best palate I know of, it's Bob. And that will never change. He comes from a Scotch world, not to repeat ourselves over and over. But you've done cigar, you've done Scotch back in the 90s. So you definitely have some history on your side that you know what you're doing. You know what you're tasting.
It's been fun. I enjoy it, even though I haven't been on the show very much. I enjoy the tastings with you guys. You know what I mean? We get together, and I appreciate you having me over tonight. I kind of got headed pretty soon. Let my Fido out.
Oh yes, let dog
I
out.
appreciate the compliments, and I could definitely see why those finished in your top.
Yeah,
your top whiskeys for the year.
Yeah, so we can't wait to continue that on, and we'll talk more about it as we get closer to May. But anyways, all right, real quick. So let's do this.
We got some new people here. Got William Hall just joined.
Yeah, William Hall. Hello. Yes, the hashtag Darla, by the way.
Yep. Dave Rosenstein.
That's tonight's hashtag. It's hashtag Darla. She doesn't even know we're doing this. So she'll appreciate that. Yeah, she is doing her own trivia. Have you done her trivia? Oh, it ain't easy. She don't F around.
We struggle with the album title.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. Bloody's on. Chad's on. Thank you for joining us. Things like that. Are you out of here?
Take off. Thanks.
Okay. We'll
See
see
you,
you. Yeah,
Take care,
anytime.
All right.
Mi
Cheers.
casa, su casa.
All right. Thank
You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, bud.
So everybody say goodbye to Bob. He's gonna go take care of his dog.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob. All right. So we are. Are we going across? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Across
it'd
is
be
the same
across,
one,
right?
So
Should
we're
be.
gonna do one thing right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So as we do this, don't forget hashtag Darla.
These score sheets.
Yes, we do need score sheets. And then also, thanks for giving away tonight, real quick. And we're going to probably move pretty fast because we are behind schedule. And I apologize. We just got tonight the Elijah Craig barrel proof A125. So I got this in a package ready to go. But the sample pack, it's going to be A125, C923, B524, and C922. They're all doing this. I think this will be the hashtag Darla giveaway. So make sure for those who want to be in on it, make sure you do that, and you will actually get it within a few days.
Yeah. Amazingly.
Yes, amazingly. If we had time for other giveaways, we have McBrayer, Bottle and Bond, Disco 12, Limestone Farms. To perhaps give away if we have enough time. We have Punishment Pour.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. But anyways, that being said, definitely do the hashtag. Oh, we got trivia. Son of a bitch. It's USA versus Canada. Which, by the way, does anybody have a score on the hockey game, the US versus Canada? I would appreciate if someone would let us know in the in the chat. Yes, those samples look packaged beautifully. Yes, they do, Cass.
Yes.
No, or I'm not no, but actually, thanks to you, we're using your same packaging system.
Yep.
So,
And if you did, if you missed the interview with Ted Simmons from the Spirits Business,
yeah, go back and watch it.
go back and watch. It was a very good interview. It really
Very
was.
very informative.
Yep.
All right, so while we're going to do this tasting, we're going to kill two birds. We're going to do trivia and a tasting at the same time. Just started the second period. All right, thank you, Gandy, for letting me know. Let me get on to Cahoots. Get your Cahoots ready, people.
Yep. If you're out there on TikTok, we're going to get you a Cahoots code.
Yeah, Cahoots people will get the McBrayer, Bottle and Bond, Disco 12, and Limestone Farms. That's what Cahoots will get.
Okay.
The hashtag Darla will get the Elijah Craig.
Okay.
Let me get Cahoots ready to go. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
And then Cahoots.
Now, forgive me on this. The trivia is U.S. versus Canada, by the way, for those who are wondering. Don't ask me where I found these answers. I Googled a lot of it. But here we go. Let me.
Okay, over on TikTok, let's see the code. Yeah, we did.
For
Not
Cahoots?
before, yeah. The game pin on Kahoot, if you want to play, is 643287. Just plug that pin in. You can join us and get a chance to win.
And the topic is USA versus Canada. So a lot of these answers are going to be just two answers. You're either going to pick USA or you're going to pick Canada. So you have a 50-50 chance. Some of these is you got to guess the picture and then you got to relate it to who it belongs to, USA or Canada.
Yeah.
So this could go fairly quick because it's not a 4. I think there's maybe a question or two that is a multiple choice of 4, but it's mostly USA, Canada. Pick which one's right.
Okay. All right.
So, but anyways,
Well,
so as you guys do that, we are trying Glass A on the Bardstown, and we'll get through this.
and if you're wondering if we come up with a tie here, we're going to go. That's why we're scoring. We'll take the average, and that'll be the winner if we do have a tie.
God bless us.
Or where I pick A and he picks B, that'll be the tiebreaker.
I need a pen. Here we go. Man, that's excellent.
So again, on TikTok, 643-287. If you want to play Kahoot, plug that into your app, and that'll get you onto the game for a chance to win a sample pack of McBrayer Bottled and Bond, Bardstown Discovery Series number 12,
which is one of my favorites.
What is that?
Limestone Farms.
Limestone Farms.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom Morrow.
Yep. Which, Gandy, I think that was a great idea. I know Ted's going to be swamped with other brand ambassadors and whatnot. But yeah, I agree. That was kind of a good point there to make a, Mount Rushmore of the brand ambassadors.
I think Mia is up there.
Oh yeah, Mia's up there. Tom
She could
up
sell.
there. Yeah.
She could sell freaking whatever to whoever, and people would buy.
Iced on Eskimo. Or
Whatever that saying is. Yeah, she's. Yeah. So all right. So let's get this started. We got 15 people. Let's roll. Let's get this night going before people fall asleep, like myself. All right, here we go. USA versus Canada. People, get ready. Some of the stuff is really simple. Here we go. Switching gears. Oh, sorry, I put it out of order. Which country is this actor from? USA or Canada? All right, I'm just teasing you guys right now. That's an easy one. Just wait. Watch this thing gonna be way too easy. We'll see.
It's gonna be a matter who gets them quicker.
Guess the country origin, birthplace, known for. What is this person? Is he from Canada or the US?
That's a good question. I don't know where he's from. Is it Canada?
Right.
Okay.
I ain't fooling anybody yet. Hazmat. Right now, so far, it's about fast fingers. Guess the country origin, Canada or US?
Oof.
Do you remember him on Electric Company?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I obviously made this too simple.
No, actually, that whole leaderboard just changed. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I understand, but it's just a matter of timing, not because anybody got it wrong.
Anybody want to claim her? Tommy Lee did, didn't he?
Okay. She's from Canada, people. Ooh, I got some of you all on that one. Sweet Lisa jumps in front. Jenny B, Zach McCormick, Stan, and Gandy. Who has a larger landmass between the two countries? (50-50). That's really good.
I got him again.
Yep, got him again. Look at that. See? I'm pulling the old Shauna trick on you all. I lure you in, and then I just beat you down. Sweet Lisa, Jenny B, Zach, Gandy's on fire, and Matt B. He's just lurking around. Guess the country origin, Canada or U.S.?
I'm going to move on to Glass B myself.
That's the only, by the way, it's Crown Royal, but that's the only thing I could find Crown Royal a picture of.
I've never had Crown Royal.
You never have like the apple or the the whiskey?
No,
Really?
no.
You've never had Crown Royal?
I've never had Crown Royal. I have a box of the grape that went nuts. Everybody's trying to find.
And it's like having wine. It's like having
Mad Dog 2020.
Bartles and James, I think. At least to me, it's so damn sweet. All right, here we go. Double points. Oh, this is so out of whack.
Hey, Erica from upstairs.
Yeah, Erica from upstairs. Which country has the most lakes? USA or Canada? Don't answer. Canada, despite of Minnesota, land of 1,000 lakes.
Yeah.
Canada still has it. El Jefe, Matt B, Gandy, Zach McCormick, top 5 does not change. Famous Canadian dish. What is this?
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. I was like, what the?
I never heard of this. Poutine.
I thought you were saying something earlier, something else earlier.
Okay.
A poon something.
God bless. Question 9. Here we go. Double points. What country has the most Stanley Cups? USA or Canada?
This was surprising too.
As a whole combined.
Right.
It's actually Canada. And then Zach
Look at that.
McCormick, Charles came out of nowhere.
And Matt B.
Steven Scone.
dropped.
Yes. Shauna and Sweet Lisa. Here we go. This is the final one. I don't think this is double points. Oh, it is. Okay, here we go. Final. Which NHL team has won the most Stanley Cups?
This one was hard too because
Well, I'm not a big hockey guy.
I'm not either, but I would have thought there was one team that's not on here that I thought would have won it.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Nope. The either the Boston Bruins or the Detroit Red Wings.
Okay. The Montreal Canadiens. So, all right, USA versus Canada. Who knows their trivia? Shauna, 3rd place. Charles E. Ooh, he almost made it. And Zach McCormick. He gets the McBrayer, Bottle and Bond, Disco 12, and Limestorm. Way to go, Zach.
Now, we have a punishment for it. Do we want to give a last place punishment on this?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so go to your report. Let's see
How do
who
I do
came
this?
in last.
How do I do this?
You want to, there you go. Go to view summary.
And then I can go to last person. Where's that?
You go to view full report at the top. Top right there. There you go.
Right there?
Say view report. And then go to players.
Where?
Right there in the middle.
Where?
Right there in the middle. Up right there.
Oh.
Yep, there you go. Scroll all the way down where it says show more. Who came in last? Chad Diddy.
Is that Chad Husselman?
I don't know.
Chad Diddy, reveal yourself if you would like, and we'll give you the punishment part.
He may not want it.
He may be like, I'm not revealing myself. Congratulations, Zach. And then we're gonna spin for the
Elijah Craig list there. So yeah,
Are you keeping track of what glass is which?
yeah, you just right there. Put that right there.
Right here.
Yep. And then that's your
This is my B.
or
Okay.
whatever it is. Yeah. Zach, you won the McBrayer Bottle and Bond, the Discovery Series 12, and Limestone Farms Private Stock. So that would be coming out to you in the mail tomorrow.
All right, guys. Just that. I've thought one taste. I already know which one for me.
Well, we got to keep a score now.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just telling you which I like better.
Oh yeah,
That's all. And a quick reminder: we are going to be on Whiskey Sippers next Thursday, a week from today, at 6 p.m.
Right.
So we're going to hang out with them for a couple hours before we do our own show.
Yep.
I think we're doing a blind tasting.
Ooh,
I think he's going to send us some samples.
cool.
I think that's what we're going to do. So be sure to catch them at 6 p.m. Next Thursday.
Yep. Okay.
And then next Thursday we have, for me, I'm excited about Mark
This is
Gillespie
going to be a great.
Mark Gillespie from Whiskey Cask.
I would not be hurt at all if it outlasted the whole show.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a lot to say.
Yeah.
But he knows, for you bourbon people out there, he knows. Well, shit, he knows everything.
Everything and everybody.
Irish whiskey,
Irish
single malt
Scotch.
whiskey. Yeah, you name it. If you're that kind of a person, do not miss next week's show.
Yeah. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes. So
And if you don't know who he is the host of Whiskey Cast. It is the world's largest, longest running podcast specifically associated or basically about whiskey worldwide. So,
Chad, I want you to do me a favor since you revealed yourself and you're the one that won the punishment pour. Please do a video of it's a blinded punishment pour too. There's an
That's right.
envelope.
That's right.
So I want you to rank them and then obviously open the envelope. But it'd be awesome if you could send us a video on that and we can play it on air.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes. So, and Zach, I will hit you up on Monday for what you won today. So,
All right.
all right, very good. So let's do hashtag Darla. To me, this is a pretty good one.
If you have not put it in yet,
Yes.
hashtag Darla, you're going to get the Elijah Craig batch of C922, B524, C923, and the just release, which we do have, is the A125.
And catch that for Monday's show.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, I mean, we have our
Bourbon Brawl.
Bourbon Brawl, and we have Cedar Grove or Cedar Grove.
Cedar Brook.
Cedar Grove is in Cincinnati, and
Cedar Brook versus Elijah Craig.
Right.
That's going to be a tough one.
it's going to be very tough.
But
both
they're
of them-
both on the same proof.
Yeah, same proof.
So that's going to be on Monday's show. We haven't done the show yet. We're going to do it after the show.
Yeah.
So yes.
So, but that's coming up for you
Yes.
for the Darla. And then as you mentioned, what the
You know what, Miss Lori J, which by the way, welcome. I don't know if I said hello to you, Miss Lori J, or Mr. Richie J. I'm sorry if we didn't say that.
here too.
Hey, hold on. 2-1 USA. Thank you, Gandhi, for the update. Nice. What was I saying?
You were talking about Mr. and Mrs. Lori J that you haven't said hi to them.
Oh, Miss Lori J. Richie. Did I tell you about that memory gum last week?
You were saying it. Did you take any today?
No. Anyways, there's no rich and rare in it. And it's still that bad, the punishment boards. So, yes. Yes. Of course, if you haven't subbed, keep him over 500 mark. Let's get him to 1,000. And let's all celebrate each other because that's what, you know what? That's what we do here.
Yeah. And, over on TikTok, we're up over almost 1,300. We're over 1,300 now on TikTok.
Yeah.
Started out at 20 and
That's your arena. So,
yeah.
All right, real quick. A to B. What we got?
I go B or whatever this is. Let's put our glass. Well,
You go the second one?
the second one.
Oh, shit. I go the first one.
So you like the first one better?
Yeah, I did much better. What do you got for a score?
Well, let me add it up. Let's see.
I mean, add it up. There's only two numbers.
Oh,
I just gave a flat number.
let's see. That would probably be.
All right, let's see that, and we'll do the. Hold on.
Okay.
Here. Share
18.
screen. Giveaway tool. Darla. Hashtag Darla. There's 23 and 25 on. That's a good ratio.
Mhm.
And if you haven't done it yet, we're about to spin.
Yep. Hashtag Darla. Get you in there. Get you.
And don't forget, March the 7th, we are going to go on with Darla, which is also AKA Beth. She's going to slowly come back onto the show. This is our way of getting her back on. And we had Bob on in the background tonight.
And he'll slowly work his way, hopefully, back
We'll
in
see.
as well.
Yeah,
We'll
we
see.
hope. Everybody's at their own pace, and
And we'll try to have a series of guest hosts with us if we can find some third to kind of pop in on us.
yeah.
live.
So I think that's how we're gonna probably
Yeah.
manage things for a while.
Yeah.
We're not there yet as far as who that third person is. I like to have three people. I like the cadence. of it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what we're used to.
Well, and when we had Beth here, no offense to Bob, but I mean she'd always get under your skin, and that'd be.
But it was under my skin
It'd be
in
funny
in a brotherly,
Yeah,
husbandly
yeah.
way
It
to
never
where
got personal.
No.
Or
no.
vicious like
No.
some things did, but
Right. So, but anyways, you live and learn. And
Yep.
March the 7th, she's going to come back on, and it should be a lot of fun. So,
Yep.
let's give this bad boy away.
Okay.
Hashtag Darla. Let's see who gets this lovely Elijah Craig barrel proof sample. And again, thank you guys for coming on, and I hope you guys learned a lot. We sure did
Yes.
from Ted.
Yep.
But if you like Ted, you're surely going to like Mark Gillespie next week.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
So here we go. All right, let's go.
Who's it gonna be? Who's Bourbon and Ballz?
Why is Bourbon and Ballz in there?
Matt P?
Jesus Christ. I swear this is not rigged. I promise you. I swear it's not rigged. It sure
I think
seems
he
like
might
it.
have some kind of behind the scenes link in there somewhere that he can.
I
just
don't
kinda-
know. Matt B wins every week. I swear, Matt. I hope you don't even go to the liquor store. You don't need to.
Don't need to. No.
All you have to do is go on these channels. You can live off these. I've said it before. You can live off these channels if you play it right.
Yeah.
You can live off these channels. So
Yep.
congrats, Matt. Again, Gandy, you are so right. He wins every week. Oh, hold on. Matt's got to be on first of all.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, this is not a one of those other things. So yeah, Matt's got to be on. So Matt, say hello, and then you will grab your cast, or I'm sorry, your cast 529, your Elijah Craig barrel proof. Yes,
There he is.
respin. Yeah, are you being serious? Because I don't think you're being serious. So anyways, yes, Matt, congrats on that.
Matt, if you want us to respin, say it now.
I know, but I think he's joking.
Okay.
So we'll give him a minute to see if he's actually joking. And to believe me, you know, by all means, you won it, you earned it fair and square. So anyways, what'd you get for a score on the Bardstown?
For my glass A, I got an 88, and my glass B, I got an 89.
You got 88, 89. Is a difference of 1 point.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm gonna end up being the difference then because I'm
You
3
are.
points of difference. So B.
So you had B. Well, that's where
Yeah.
I got B.
I'm
as
not
well.
B. I'm sorry, A. A.
Okay.
I looked at B, but actually
So you
the
had
first one that we tasted.
right. So 88. You had what?
Does it matter? At
Well,
85,
that's
and then I had 82. Just
Yeah.
logically, math
Logically,
logic
you're
will
right.
tell you the
So-
first one won. So what's the
A.
first one? This one here.
It's the one. Yeah. Well, nope. This one here.
What?
It's this one here.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay.
It's glass B, which is not doesn't matter on there. Glass B is
Dude, you confuse
number
me
7.
when you do that.
This is number 7.
Why don't you put
Because
the
I wrote it for you.
okay, but why don't you put the actual? Why don't you write it out on there? You
got
confuse the hell out of me.
B
Holy hell! What number is that?
number 7.
Okay, so number 7 wins
Second week
again.
in a row.
Yes, number 7 wins again.
All right.
All right, very good. So Matt, are you sure, Matt? You've had your share of this. All right, Matt. Everybody thank Matt because we're gonna respin. All right, let's draw again. How do we take him out? I don't think you know what. I don't know how to take you out. So we're gonna draw again, and if Matt, you come back up again, then we'll draw again.
If
So-
it wins the third time, then it's rigged.
All right. Everybody thank you, Matt. Matt. He does win a fair share, but this was a good giveaway. All right, let's do it again. Winner is Sweet Lisa. There we go.
She wins all the time too.
No, she does not. She won in the
won
in the giveaway.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So Sweet Lisa.
She here? She's got to be here.
You know what we're gonna do too? This is what we're gonna do. I know we have other stuff.
We do.
What do we have?
We got the Weller Special Reserve and the
And the
Weller
Weller
Antique, and then
And the
there's
coffee.
and the coffee, and there's
I already sent Matt some coffee. Matt, give me a minute and we're gonna think of something. I'm gonna send you out something anyways because you deserve it.
Sweet Lisa is here.
Sweet Lisa is here. Congrats, Sweet Lisa. You won the Elijah Craig sample pack. And then Matt, for being such a great sport, I think it's only right. We're gonna give you our own special blend. Not blend, but pick.
Okay.
Yeah, let's think long and hard about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it may not be 4. We may give you 2 or something really great. I don't know yet. Let's give Matt something good because
Okay.
just because nice guys need to be rewarded, or nice people, nice women, nice ladies, nice whoever. So, congrats, Lisa, as well. You will get that sent out tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh yes, Matt did get the coffee. So Let me know what you think. It will not hurt my feelings. That's one flavor. The rest of the Patreons will get their coffee at the end of the month. I'm trying to decide what next month's flavor is going to be. My guess is either going to be hazelnut, vanilla almond, or Highlander grog. So if anybody has a preference, you coffee drinkers, Highlander grog. It's like a chocolate.
Ooh,
It's very good.
I kind of like that snickerdoodle that you made.
Yeah.
That was good too.
Oh yeah, the snickerdoodle was good.
It was.
Some people don't like snickerdoodle.
Yeah, I know.
But that was very good.
Do we want to try another drink here before we go off, or what do you want to do?
Well, we gotta record a show. We still have to record McBrayer versus Elijah Craig.
Elijah Craig, that's right.
Yeah, so we can put this out on Monday, and I'll do the editing.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you a break. You edit the last 3 weeks.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, 3 shows.
3, yeah. Not 3 weeks.
You haven't done last 3 weeks, my friend, because it's taking you 3 weeks to put one.
Man.
It ain't easy. Is
No, it's not easy. And then, when you get busy and something else comes up.
Yeah, and Brian, you'll attest to this, or Shauna. I mean, when we edit these videos, it takes me a good 2.5 hours, 3 hours to edit, and that's with nobody disturbing me.
This is what you're talking about, Brian.
Shit, open that up. I want to try it. Damn it, shit. I swear to God.
This,
you want to try it? I want to see how this is.
if you don't know, this is High Bank's own distillate blend with their MGP.
Thank you, Mr. Richard J. I'm glad you liked it.
They just came out with this. Brian was gracious enough to pick up a bottle for us. This is batch number 1. It's a 93 proof. It is a 70-30 blend. Is that correct? Of the High Bank distillate with their MGP.
So we talked about that to the that blender yesterday,
right?
At McBrayer, about how they're blending their barrels in it, and he was saying they're doing it right. That's the right way to do it. As far as no, that consultant was talking about how High Bank is doing it correctly.
Yeah.
On how to introduce their own distillate.
Yeah, because you don't want to shock the system and go all in when your distillate ain't worth a shit.
Correct.
But
you know what I found interesting that he said, and we'll share with you guys, because he talks about when companies, small craft or whoever, will buy MGP barrels or any barrels for that matter, and say like they have just a piece of shit barrel, but it costs money.
Right.
I mean that's like a $5,000 barrel, let's say.
Right.
And just for cost savings, they want to get rid of it. He was telling us yesterday that the ratio to get rid of a bad barrel to not really affect the bourbon is a 10-to-1 ratio.
Right.
So you need to get 10 good barrels of bourbon, at least in his opinion,
right,
to maybe cover up
the
one bad barrel that they have.
Even though you've got that skunk or musty whatever into it, what did he call it? Start with an S. He had a whole different lingo of everything.
Oh yeah.
Which he's going to give, be kind enough to give us his book on his like Flabby. I don't know what Flabby was.
This is youthful.
But he I lost my train of thought.
So the next vax would be reversed. So right now it's what you said, it was 70-30 MGP.
I think that's what it was. 70-30
MGP.
30 MGP, 70 them, I believe.
Brian, can you... Shauna can tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. She said 2 of their barrels and 3 of their barrels. So basically 60-40.
60-40 MGP.
Yeah.
And this one is I don't know if you knew this or not, Brian, but this bottle is signed. I don't know who this is signed by, but there is a signature there on it. So what do you think? It's got a grainy, grassy nose on it.
You're asking what I think?
Well, yeah.
I guess I'm being honest, right?
Might as well.
It's not awful. It's not great. It just passed through me with no taste. I almost got no taste out of that.
No, I get a taste. In fact, I get a real high corn. What it reminds me of is White Dog. When you get it right off the still. I mean, I don't know.
I get some corn, but
there is no age statement. So if there's no
Let's
age
just
statement,
say this is a starting point for them.
yeah. No age statement means it has to be 4 years, right?
Yeah. And I'm trying to be more open-minded on just craft distillers and just trying to get up and running. So I'm trying to be nicer. So,
Well, yeah. I mean,
but by all means, I would never ever put this in a punishment pour. It's far away from that.
oh yeah.
So
I mean,
let's get that straight. It's not a punishment pour. If I had to score it, I would say it's like a 70. I'd be good with that.
yeah.
It's a 70.
Um,
It's not god awful by any stretch of the imagination.
but it does have that young.
It's
it has a
it's
young
useful.
nose and taste. Like I said, almost like
You know what it is? This would be good for someone who's coming into the bourbon world. Like you're not going to overshock them, and someone who wants to come as an entry bourbon. Actually, I would say that's actually not bad for an entry bourbon.
for an entry.
That'd be
no.
a good That for me. That's what I would do. That.
And it's a 93 proofer, so you're not going to burn anybody up.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't. I don't think it even drinks like a 93. I think it drinks more like an 80. Myself.
Is the disco still lingering? Not anymore. It was. It was good. That disco 7. Ain't gonna lie, that's good.
Adam, the owner, master distiller, is the one to sign that. Cool.
Okay, awesome.
What was your thoughts on that, Brian? I mean, I know you guys have had this too.
I would give it a 70. You guys might get a little higher. I'm not sure. But I definitely will not put in the 60s.
No.
I don't. No, I know plenty of bourbons that deserve a 60. And this ain't it. It's just it's a good starting point. How's that?
Yeah. Yep, that works.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
How much is that bottle?
45, 48.
Okay.
No, well, yeah, $50. Tax and everything, and a little courier fee.
I would say it tastes like a $30 bottle. Just saying.
Yeah, and I don't know. The label's crooked, so does that mean anything?
It's a collector's item.
Yeah, and it's signed. Yeah, okay, Brian, you say
Yeah, it's a great starting point. That shows, yeah, you're exactly right. I will say this: they're off to a better start than Castle and Key.
That's
I mean, you want to sit there and say, "Hey, here's our product."
It took Castle and Key 6-7 years to get to where
straight,
they are today.
to get straightened up. So,
Yeah. So yeah,
I say they are ahead of Castle and Key to where Castle and Key were or was when they first started. But however, to be fair, Castle and Key was 100% their own distillate versus they're having help from MGP.
Right.
So,
and this is the risk you take whenever you go from your own from contract distilling like MGP to your own. You do take that risk, and this is kind of that example. But like you said, Brian, you said it too, Charlie, that this is a starting point. It's the stepping off point, I guess you could say.
Well, the game's not over yet, is it, Bob? Maybe Mr. Richie J is referring to last week's game, which was awesome, where there were like 3 fights in like 9 minutes because you pissed off the Americans when you boo them on their anthem, and it's on.
Yeah.
So Canada got their ass whipped 4-1 last week. And generally, I don't get into these things as far as like hockey, just because we're not in a hockey town. But when it's something like that, when it's country against country, I pay a little bit more attention to.
Yeah.
Kind of like the World Cup in soccer. I'll watch the World Cup, even though we're never any good.
Yeah.
But anyways.
For myself, I mean,
oh shit, it's 2-2. Damn it.
I've tried to get into hockey. I've tried following the Columbus Blues.
I wish hockey had a bigger rink because the puck goes so damn fast.
Well, yeah, you're slapping that thing around at 100 plus mile an hour. I mean, yeah,
That's what she said.
But for me anyway, I don't know what it is, but for hockey, it's like NASCAR started this weekend. Soccer starting up.
Oh, by the way, FC Cincinnati starts the first game on Saturday.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to next Wednesday's game.
Oh, are you?
So
Cool.
My apologies in advance, Cask, if I am not in your guys' chat. I'm at the game. So, anyways. So,
let's see. We got anything else? We got what we got here?
No, but I was all right. We had another show to do, a recorded show.
We do.
So let's take it easy.
Yep.
Another thing I will say is if you guys have not watched, I'm gonna go rewatch it. The replay of tonight's thing. You know what? I may cut that out of the live stream and make it a show.
That's what I was thinking. We make that a separate.
We'll put it out
standalone.
on Saturday or something.
Yeah, something standalone so you can
I
look
think
at
that
it.
was too important of an interview to not
Yeah,
get out there.
You know, he's obviously he's not going to revisit the Ohio Senate bill if it ever does come back out, which I understand that you get one and done and you're on. But it will also be something interesting to kind of keep an eye on whether or not this guy decides to bring this bill back. Either he revamps a few things in it or brings it out as as it was. I still think it's dead on arrival, and so did Ted.
Right.
But it'd be interesting to see where things go.
Okay.
I mean, things are crazy enough right now as it is, so who knows?
All right, guys, that's enough for us. We have to produce Monday's show. Stay tuned for Cedar Brook Single Barrel, one of my favorites, versus Elijah Craig, the new one. We haven't even tasted it yet.
Haven't even tasted it.
Even though some stuff missing, that means we already poured it.
That's because we poured out some
yeah,
samples.
Sweet Lisa, congratulations on tonight's major win on that one. Chad, you're gonna get the punishment pour, and Matt B, we're gonna take care of you because you're so nice as far as generosity on giving away your samples.
Yep, and we got to take care of Sweet Lisa. She said she was missing one short.
Yes, email us now because that way I can just put it all in one shipment if you don't mind.
And if you have not received any of your gifts yet, or your winnings, let us know. Send us an email.
Give another day or so because I think there's a few things left in transit still.
Because
everything's gone out.
You should have gotten probably an email to let you know that it's on the way. But if you haven't got it, let us know. We kind of had a little issue with trying to get some answers on some spreadsheets. But,
but nevertheless, they're going out and we're all good. And you all be good out there. We appreciate you. This is your channel, and we say it every day. We say it every week, and it's so true. We'll try to keep you guys entertained and get you guys more guests on the show. Don't forget next week is Bart Gillespie. That's a big one for us. If you don't know who he is, go check him out on Whiskey Cask. I think he's over 1,000 episodes.
It's more like 1,200 or something like that.
Yeah, so go check him out.
He's on iHeart. He's on
all the platforms.
He's on everything.
Go check him out. I listen to him every week. So
I do
in
too.
the car. So all right, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for showing up. And real quick, Catch 529 will be on Friday live at 8 o'clock. They're gonna do their 15 year. Don't forget that either. Don't forget Whiskey Sippers will be on there next week. Don't forget Steven Scone, his 500 sub live tomorrow.
Have you guys put your links up on our on our chat here? Throw the links up there.
Yeah. And don't forget to go on to Discord 529. I think we said it all. There's a poll out there as far as next meetup. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. All right.